Chicagoans are calling it Siberia as they endure below zero temperatures, and that's not including the wind chill, bringing it to a dangerous negative 42 degrees. Combine that with inches of snow being piled up, as you can see behind me here in this Park Ridge neighborhood, and you have a recipe for citywide closures. Hockey season here in Chicago has been put on hold as the Blackhawks are currently on an Olympic break. 10 of the team's players were selected to represent multiple countries, including Jonathan Toews, who was dubbed alternate captain for Team Canada. As for the other 13 players, they are enjoying their time off. However, coach Joel Quenneville says he would expect these guys fresh once they come out of the Olympic break. He is also hoping that one of his players brings back a gold medal. It's an entertainment district that serves not only the residents of Rosemont, but people everywhere in the Chicago area. It was just 2 years ago that MB Financial Park first opened, and now it's progressed into an area with diverse establishments. It's been a tough winter for Metro commuters, and now CEO Don Orsino is taking the heat for it. This week, lawmakers confronted the Metro head, asking how he plans to resolve the lack of reliability after only 30% of its trains arrived on time during the winter storm. Now, Metro is asking its riders to speak out by sending surveys to its customers.
Let's also now look into the goals that you have for the 2013-2014 school year. How do you plan to build a stronger bond between SGA and the DePaul community? Next year will be the end for Dominick's grocery stores in Chicago. Dominick's parent company Safeway decided to close the stores due to financial problems. The only question now is, which stores will be taken over by other grocers? I recently went to the Dominick's in Lincoln Park to see how the closing will affect DePaul students and staff. It's been about 4 months since the CTA first shut down the south side tracks of the Red Line, a closure that led to passengers rerouting their daily commute while increasing foot traffic on Green Line platforms.
Good news is it's going to be a great railroad when they're done. The bad news is a lot of pain on the south side.
And for some south side residents, like DePaul staff member Zalencia Harris, the commute to work has made for one long summer.
Well, the Green Line is a little slower, so driving into 35th to catch the Green Line took about 35 or 40 minutes.
These past 4 months have not only made it a longer commute for Red Line passengers, but also Green Line passengers.
We had some delays where there's too many trains on the track, so sometimes it'll be like 5 trains in front of the train that I'm on, so it sometimes delay the movement of the train getting to the stop on time.
Although unable to meet for an interview, CTA project consultant Steve Mayberry commented, stating, "The Red Line South reconstruction project remains on schedule and on budget and is scheduled to reopen on Sunday, October 20th, 2013. With a new set of tracks being built and updated platforms, passengers can expect to see drastic changes once the Red Line reopens."
It's going to be really an upgrade when they open. Trains will be able to go 45 mile per hour. They'll be able to accelerate faster, and that's, you find that when you have speed limits, you often find that you don't get that feeling of acceleration, which they'll have. They're also going to do some sort of cosmetic improvements to the stations. A lot of that stuff's 20, 30 years old, and it's an eyesore.
While CTA workers continue to add the finishing touches, commuters anxiously await their upgraded Red Line to bring stability back to Chicago transportation. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Odalis Suarez. In the heart of downtown Chicago is Moody Bible Institute. It's a Christian college that recently lifted their ban on alcohol and tobacco for faculty and staff. However, the restriction is still in place for the school student body. It's a decision that many Moody students are respectfully accepting.
I don't have a problem with it because there are donors that are paying for our student bills. And so I think a lot of it comes on what they say.
I personally don't believe that alcohol is evil or wrong, but it can be when abused, and that's what they're trying to avoid, is an image where followers of Christ abuse alcohol.
The ban lift has been a progressive effort by the school, but does that mean that students will be bound free of this restriction in the near future as well? In a recent article, the New York Times interviewed Moody professor Michael McDuffie. Although unable to meet for an interview, when asked if the ban should be lifted for students, McDuffie commented, "At this time, no. The change introduced was major, requiring a period of digestion and reflection before embarking upon further change.
Them being allowed to go out and drink in a normal environment and go out with people and, have wine or have a beer or something. I don't see how it plays too much into what they're doing here.
The decision was a bold move for Moody, and at least for now it's a choice that many students seem willing to accept. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Odalis Suarez.
If you just see the vapor coming off on this, the blue will never do this.
It's called an electronic cigarette, a battery-operated device that looks like a conventional cigarette, but actually turns liquid nicotine into inhalable vapor. Located in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood is Mr. Smoke, which sells customized electronic cigarettes. Smoke shop owner and DePaul alum Amit claims that e-cigarettes are a healthier choice for smokers.
Not only you're vaporizing, you're actually avoiding tar and the other 400 or 500 chemicals involved in cigarettes. At this point, we're only taking in nicotine, and we're only taking it through a vape method.
This vapor consists of 4 ingredients: nicotine, propylene glycol, an FDA-approved ingredient used in food products and as antifreeze, vegetable glycerin, which is commonly used in lotions, and food flavoring. E-cigarettes allow people to limit the level of nicotine they want, anywhere from 0 to 24 milligrams. They can also select from a wide array of flavor options, enhancing the smoking experience. It's a system that's very different from traditional cigarettes.
They're sleek, they're modern, and although some smokers find it to be a safer alternative, health experts show a different perspective.
The idea of inhaling any foreign element into your lungs other than clean air is not going to be good for you.
According to a Centers for Disease Control press release, the percentage of high school students who reported ever using an e-cigarette rose to 10% in 2012, while use also doubled among middle school students. That means that in total, more than 1.78 million middle and high school students nationwide had tried e-cigarettes. And college students are trying them as well. Some fear this will lead young people to use regular cigarettes.
There's a higher likelihood that they'll be using regular cigarettes or use it as an entryway to cigarettes later in life.
But some disagree, like Richard Bell, who's using e-cigarettes with no nicotine. He says making the switch from regular cigarettes saved his health.
Overall, I've saved thousands and thousands of dollars. Also, my health has come back. I can run around. I have asthma, so I'm not feeling the effects of my asthma as much.
While e-cigarette use has increased among Americans, the potential health risk these devices carry is still being debated. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Odalis Suarez. Some just take a glance at them. Others can't help but comment on them. And there are some who just walk right past them. Yet with their cheerful Christmas melodies and dancing lights, it's hard to miss these light fixtures scattered all over State Street.
It was a little different because I just saw them just coming out of the ground, and so it's a very unique idea.
The design is called Lightscape, an effort initiated by the Chicago Loop Alliance.
With Lightscape, we program it seasonally. Right now there's Christmas music out because it's the holidays, and then sometimes we get to have a little fun with it. Last month I had Brian Eno playing Forever, which was great.
During the day, the music is the star of the show, until nighttime comes when the lights get a chance to shine, moving along with the music.
I know it's like cliche to say it, but it's kind of magical. Like they're just like coming out of the ground and you walk by and it's like your life has a soundtrack.
Lightscape was first launched in 2011, and the music stretches from Lake all the way to here in Van Buren. But what exactly do these oddly shaped fixtures really represent?
Lightscape physically is supposed to represent native grasses. So the idea was to take the flora and fauna that would have lived here before Chicago and represent it in these giant phallic poles.
Whether on the east side of the street or the west, or standing in the middle of the block, these light planters will be sparkling each day, bringing that little bit of magic to the people of Chicago. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Odalis Suarez.